Level Biology 9700, and the topic is aerobic respiration. And aerobic respiration is a biological process in which food glucose is converted into energy in the presence of oxygen. The chemical equation of aerobic respiration is given below. And students, the aerobic respiration is that type of respiration which only takes place in the presence of oxygen. And as a result of this, the six carbon compound glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen into carbon dioxide and water, and then this carbon dioxide and water uh, are produced as a result of end products. And you can see the one glucose molecule with the help of six oxygen molecule is broken down into six carbon dioxide and six water molecules. And as a result of this breakdown of glucose molecule into the carbon dioxide and water, ATP or adenosine triphosphate, adenosine triphosphate energy is released. Large amount of energy is released, and energy stored in the mitochondria in the form of ATP molecules. And the aerobic respiration takes place in four stages. So these stages have been shown in this diagram, and you can see the first stage is glycolysis, and which takes place in the cytoplasm, and the second is the link reaction, and the third stage is called as Krebs cycle. So the Krebs cycle and link take in the mitochondrial matrix, and then the last stage, which is electron transport chain or oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative So this stage takes place in inner mitochondrial matrix. And here you can see the mitochondria is there. You can see the glycolysis is outside the mitochondria, that is in the cytoplasm, and then link reaction and Krebs cycle, they take place in the matrix, and then the electron transfer chain or oxidative phosphorylation, it takes place in the inner mitochondrial membrane. So as a result of this, you can see in the glycolysis, two ATP molecules are used, and then you can see the in Krebs cycle, the decarboxylation takes place, that is the carbon dioxide is released over there. And then in the last reaction, which takes place in the inner mitochondrial matrix, you can see the oxygen reacts with the hydrogen molecules, and then water is formed, and 36 molecules of ATP are produced during these four stages. So in this way, uh, we will move towards the first stage, which is glycolysis. And the first stage, glycolysis of this aerobic respiration, and already told you that it takes place in the cytoplasm. So glycolysis converts the glucose. First of all, this glucose, which is six carbon molecule, it is broken down, it is changed into two smaller three carbon compounds, that is three carbon compounds. In this way, it will change into three carbon compounds, and this three carbon compound is called as pyruvate. So this stage does not require an oxygen. So it is an anaerobic process and is involved in both aerobic and anaerobic respiration pathway. So glucose is phosphorylated using the phosphate group of two molecules of ATP. So in this way, in this case, in the glycolysis, in the first stage, first of all, the two ATP molecules are used up. So during this process, two ATP molecules are given here. So ATP is hydrolyzed into ADP. And after when ATP is used, it is broken down, it is into ATP as one phosphate molecule is removed from to it, and then the organic phosphate. This forms a molecule which is unstable and immediately breaks down into two 3 carbon molecules called tri triose phosphate. So the glucose molecule is it changed into the at this stage it is changed into triose phosphate. Hydrogen is removed from triose phosphate to convert into pyruvate. So this triose phosphate is changed into pyruvate. So the hydrogen is transferred to a coenzyme called NAD and to form reduced NAD. H. So when NAD is reduced form, it has hydrogen with it. So the removal of hydrogen from triose phosphate oxidizes it, because when triose phosphate is hydrolyzed, so at that time the NAD is changed into reduced NADH. The reduced NAD is used in the last stage of aerobic respiration, oxidative phosphorylation, whereas the pyruvate moves into the mitochondria for the next stage of respiration, the link reaction. So the conversion of triose phosphates to pyruvate produce four molecules of ATP. First of all, two molecules of ATP are used, but as a result of this formation of pyruvate molecule, there are formation of four ATP molecules. So since two molecules were used, so as a result, we can say the gain is only of two molecules of ATP because two of them were used. So in this way, when there are production of four molecules, then only two molecules remain behind. So here you can see the diagram. I will explain this diagram. As you can see, the glucose is of 6 carbon compound. You can see over there. So what happens with it? Two molecules of ATP are used up and ATP molecules are changed into ADP because phosphorylation takes place over here, due to which the ATP molecules are changed into two ADP molecules, and then due to which the glucose is changed into fructose biphosphate. So fructose biphosphate, and then you can say the fructose biphosphate is changed, or you can say broken down into two molecules of triose phosphate. So triose phosphate molecules on both, you can say, sides, you can see over there. So the triose phosphate is a 3 carbon compound. So one phosphate molecule will be used with, then it will be triose biphosphate. It will be changed into triose biphosphate, which is also 3 carbon compound with two phosphate molecules, and then oxidation takes place, and as a result of oxidation, the NAD is changed into reduced NAD, and then dephosphorylation takes place, and two ATP molecules are changed into ATP molecules and ATP only. So here you can see two ATP molecules are here and two ATP, and you can see in the star two ATP molecules are used. So net gain of ATP molecules is 2 in glycolysis. Now we will move towards the next stage, which is the link reaction, which joins the link. It is called as link reaction because it joins the glycolysis with the Krebs cycle. So the link reaction takes place in the mitochondrial matrix and converts pyruvate into a molecule called acetyl coenzyme A. So this stage does not produce any energy in the form of ATP, but does produce reduced NAD and acetyl-CoA, because this is the link reaction of, so it will link the glycolysis with the Krebs cycle. So reduced NAD will be used in oxidative phosphorylation, while the acetyl-CoA will be used in the next stage of aerobic respiration, the Krebs cycle, the third stage, Krebs cycle. So during the link reaction, a carbon atom is removed from pyruvate forming carbon dioxide. So decarboxylation takes place in this stage as well. So carbon dioxide is produced, there is released. This converts pyruvate into a 2 carbon compound acetate. So the 3 carbon compound will be changed into 2 carbon compound, which is acetate. So hydrogen is also removed from pyruvate in the conversion into acetate, which is picked up by the coenzyme NAD to form reduced NAD. So NAD will be changed into reduced NAD. So the acetate is combined with the coenzyme A to form acetyl-CoA. Since one glucose molecule is converted to pyruvate, so here you can see uh, the diagram of this reaction in which you can see the pyruvate, two pyruvate molecules were produced as a result of glycolysis. So what happens in this link reaction? The decarboxylation takes place, as a result of which the carbon dioxide is released, and then NAD is reduced to NADH, and the coenzyme A is added, which will change the pyruvate will be changed into acetate, and then coenzyme will combine with it to form the acetyl-CoA. So acetyl coenzyme A is produced at the end of this reaction. There is no production of ATP, no energy is produced during this reaction. Only there is the formation of two carbon compound, which is called as acetyl-CoA. Now after this, the third stage is started, which is called as Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle, also known as the citric acid cycle, is a series of reactions which generate reduced NAD and a similar molecule called reduced FAD, which are needed for oxidative phosphorylation because they are produced side by side, because they are needed in the last stage, which is called as uh, oxidative phosphorylation. And in oxidative phosphorylation, the electron transport chain takes place. So acetyl-CoA from the link reaction reacts with four carbon molecule called oxaloacetate. The coenzyme, a portion of acetyl-CoA is removed and returns to the link reaction to be reused. So this is cycle. So recycling takes place. A six carbon molecule called citrate is produced. Carbon and hydrogen are removed from the citrate, forming a carbon dioxide and reduced NAD. So in this way, again, the carboxylation takes place and NAD is changed into reduced form. So the citrate is converted into five carbon compound when again the decarboxylation and dehydration once more, which converts the five carbon compound into four carbon molecules, which are intermediate compounds, and then oxaloacetate is also formed, which we started with. So ATP2 molecules of reduced NAD, one molecule FAD, and carbon dioxide are also formed in this step. This cycle takes place twice for each glucose molecule that is respired anaerobically. Now I will show you its diagram, and then I will explain this diagram. Acetyl-CoA were formed at the end of the link reaction. So oxaloacetate and acetyl-CoA, they will join together to form six carbon compound citrates, because the acetyl-CoA was the two carbon compound, whereas the oxaloacetate, which is already present in the system, is the four carbon compound. So both of them will join together to make six carbon compound, which is called as citrate. And then from citrate, you can say the process of decarboxylation takes place. As a result of this decarboxylation, carbon dioxide is released. And due to release of carbon dioxide, the NAD will be changed into reduced NAD by accepting the hydrogen molecule. So then citrate will be changed into five carbon compound, which is intermediate compound. And then this again, the decarboxylation takes place, the carbon dioxide will be released, and the reduction of NAD will also take place. And then there will be the formation of ADP to ATP. Rephosphorylation takes place, and then again FAD, the another molecule, it will also will be reduced and it will change into reduced FAD, and NAD will once changed into NAD to reduced NAD. As a result of this reduction, what will happen? There will be formation of four carbon compound. So in this way, the oxaloacetate, which is four carbon compound, will again enter into the Krebs cycle. So in this way, the formation of these different types of carbon takes place during these three stages. With the end of this third stage, the fourth stage will be started, and the fourth stage is oxidative phosphorylation. And during this oxidative phosphorylation, which takes place in the inner mitochondrial membrane, so it is the part where most of the ATP is formed. That is, the two molecules of ATP were formed in the first glycolysis, and then it uses the electrons that are being carried by reduced NAD and reused FAD. They were formed in the previous stages, they have been generated. So it takes place across the inner mitochondrial membrane and involve two processes, the electron transport chain and chemiosmosis. So the coenzymes reduced NAD and reduced FAD release hydrogen atoms, which split into hydrogen ions and electrons. The electrons are passed on to electron carriers, which are embedded within the inner mitochondrial membrane and travel along a series of electron carriers known as the electron transport chain. As they travel between the electron carriers, they lose energy. This energy is used by the carriers to pump hydrogen ions from the mitochondrial matrix around the inner membrane. So this process will continue, and as I will show you in this diagram, hydrogen ions accumulate in the inter membrane space, and this generate a proton gradient. The proton concentration will be higher outside the inner membrane. So across the hydrogen ions then flow back into the matrix as they will move from their higher concentration towards the lower concentration. So they will move back into the matrix, and through the enzyme ATP synthase, which uses the movement of hydrogen ions, add a phosphate group into ADP to form ATP. The process by which the movement of hydrogen ions produces ATP is called chemiosmosis. So once the electrons reach the end of the electron transport chain, they are passed on to oxygen, which is referred to as the final electron acceptor. So the oxygen combines with the hydrogen and electrons ions to form a water, one of the product of aerobic respiration. We will move towards this diagram. I will explain it again, which I have read before. So you can see in this stage, the reduced NAD and reduced FAD will help over here. The hydrogen ion, hydrogen will be the reduced when the reduced NAD will be changed into NAD to hydrogen ions, or the protons. They will move outside the inner membrane, and the electron will be used up by the electron carriers. So in this way, electron carriers or electron transport chain will take place. You can say the one carrier and the other carrier, and the hydrogen ions or the protons are moving out the outside the inner membrane. So what happens as a result of this? The electrons are carried by many carriers, whereas the hydrogen ions are outside the inner membrane. So concentration of the hydrogen ions has been increased over here. So they will move back into the system by the, you can say, uh, from their higher concentration towards the lower concentration with an oxygen. So they will move back, and then as a result of this, the ADP will be oxidative phosphorylation will take place, and ADP will be changed into ATP. And most of the ATP is produced in this stage, and then oxygen will combine with this hydrogen, and then as a result of this hydrogen and oxygen, there will be the formation of water. And the carbon dioxide was produced in the during the link reaction and during the Krebs cycle. Now the formation of water has been taken place. So in this way, during these four stages, the glucose molecule is broken down, and then it passes through many stages. And as a result of these stages, the carbon dioxide and water are produced as a result. So the large amount of energy is produced during these reactions. So we will discuss the total amount of energy which is produced during this aerobic respiration. So aerobic respiration produces a total of 38 ATP molecules per one molecule of glucose. It means one molecule of glucose produces 38 molecules of ATP. Two of them were produced in the first stage, four were produced in the first stage, but as you know, the two were used up, and so remained behind two, and two were produced in the other stages, and in this way, the last stage produces more ATPs other than the other as comparison to other stages, you can say that. Each molecule of reduced NAD produces 3 ATP and each molecule of reduced FAD produces 2 ATP. So remember that the link reaction and Krebs cycle happens twice for each molecule of glucose because it is converted into two pyruvate molecules. So glycolysis direct production of 2 ATP and glycolysis 2 reduced NADP into 6 ATP molecules in oxidative phosphorylation. So link produces 6 ATP molecules, 2 into 3 oxidative phosphorylation. So Krebs cycle direct production of 2 ATP molecules and Krebs cycle 6 reduced NAD are converted into 18 ATP molecules in oxidative phosphorylation. So 18 ATP molecules are produced during this. So two Krebs cycle, two reduced FAD are converted into 4 ATP molecules. So total ATP molecules which are produced during these reactions, 2 plus 6 plus 6 plus 2 plus 18 plus 4, total 38 molecules of ATP are used. Because on the conversion of NAD, when NAD molecule or FAD molecules are reduced at that time, two molecules of ATP are produced in each case. So in this way, the total ATP molecules which are produced during this during the breakdown of one glucose molecule. So in this way, we can say that large amount of energy is produced during this reaction. So it was all about the aerobic respiration. So please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.